Alright, so the Clippers had pretty much a really rough loss against the Toronto Raptors. So throughout the whole entire game, it was pretty much like a close game until the second quarter. That's when they gained like the most momentum for the Raptors. And then third quarter is when we kind of took control. Then fourth quarter we took control, but unfortunately it was not enough. So first I'm gonna go player by player like how I usually do. So first of all, we're gonna talk about Marcus Morris. Marcus Morris, he did pretty solid. He went 9 for 17. He had a really rough last shot, but he was making a lot of shots, like more like in the mid range, like especially like near the basket. He did pretty good there. So Marcus Morris, he just did his thing, but he just took the last shot, which was like should have been Reggie Jackson, but I mean, like he pretty much like ran up the ball and took the last shot. I forgot who was guarding him. It was either Siakam or Barnes, and then it was just pretty rough. And then, but yeah, but nevertheless, though, Marcus Morris he did do fairly solid, so that's pretty good for Marcus Morris. And then you got Nick Batum, who actually played pretty good. He made timely threes, like went like 3 for 6. Um, oh yeah, going back to Marcus Morris, um, he did pretty good, but like he kind of shot for 2 for 7, which is he definitely could work on his threes more, but yeah, that's that. And then Nick Batum, going back to him, he played pretty good defense. He was actually showing flashes of being the Batum battalion. He like went for 3 for 6 or something like that, but he made like timely shots, especially like 2 timely threes, and that's pretty good. That Nick Batum was showing flashes because that's a Nick Batum that we would love to see. And then you got Ivica Zubac, like it was his really rough night. Like Zubac was just getting the ball knocked out of his hands like very often. Um, yeah, like just kind of clumsy. Couldn't really catch the ball pretty good, which is like unfortunate. It's kind of like unfortunate that Zubac he has a lot of these swing factors, which is like it's pretty rough if we're being honest. But like I just wish like Zubac could always like how he played against the Cavs, like just actually score, make his hook shots, like play solid defense. I wish he could do like every game, but this is just his really rough games too. But hopefully, like Zubac could just get consistent because Zubac actually, from my perspective, like yeah, he improved a lot, but he has like a decent amount of swing factors. But I mean, like hey, what can I say? It happens to the best of the best. So yeah. And then you got Reggie Jackson, who was straight up a bucket. He was like, I believe like 50% from the three. If correct me if I'm wrong, but his passing was actually pretty solid. Like, he made that one full court pass, and then resulted in someone dunking it. It was like more like in the first quarter, which is I don't exactly remember pretty well, alright, because I don't have the best memories, but I can give the basic details. But Reggie Jackson, like in my opinion, he should have took the last shot because Reggie's just more like a type of guy that it is more clutch. I'm not saying Muck isn't clutch because Muck showed that he could be clutch, but Reggie is just he's the better ball handler, and he's more of like a good like shot space creator. It's like probably like the best shot creator behind Brandon Boston Jr. right now. In my personal opinion, I know it's a hot take, but I'll speak about BBJ later on. But alright. Then you got Amir Coffey, who was actually fairly solid. Didn't do too impressive, but he did reliable. He was like 4 for 6, I believe. He was like I say, 10 points. Played actually pretty good defense. He also pretty good. He played like a little bit on the lower side, but still played a lot of minutes, like 20 something minutes. I forgot, but But yeah, he played pretty good defense. Did his thing, and doing all the little things that earns Amir Coffee the minutes. And then going to the bench, you got Terrence Mann, who played with a lot of high energy. Played pretty good defense. He was actually making his threes, getting some of the rebounds, just being a really good hustle player. And then Luke Kennard, he had a really of an off game. Like, he did not want to take any shots. Like, it's also may contribute that they didn't feed him the ball enough. But Luke, man, only 2 shots, and I don't think he scored any points. To be honest, he couldn't really do anything in this game. Luke Kennard, he's kind of a little bit back of his a little bit of his first stint with the Clippers. Luke, he needs to get in the habit of firing the shot, but he did in the last game. But it's just one bad night, I guess. I know Luke had a bad game, in terms of shooting threes, but he did pretty reliable last game, more in the mid-range. But yeah, Luke was just off this game. And then you got Robert Covington. First of all, welcome back to Rocco. He hustled really good. He played really good defense. He grabbed rebounds. He actually made a pretty timely three as well too. He was just scoring as well too. He was just doing everything. Rocco, I hope he retires as a Clipper. Hopefully, we can have him stay for the Clippers for a little while, because he is pretty tremendous for our Clippers. And then, yeah, that's pretty much the rotation. And one thing that that always disappoints me is Brandon Boston Jr. just doesn't get enough the utilization. Brandon Boston Jr. is just, he brings the juice on offense, but he plays really good defense. Tyler could have definitely found room for Brandon Boston. Could have just give just a little bit of the starter minutes to Brandon Boston Jr. Just split the pie by a little bit, just trim all the starter minutes by 2 minutes each, and then get to Brandon Boston, because Brandon Boston, he plays a really versatile position. He could play 1, 2, 3, even low key 4 if you really wanna have him play the small ball. But 1, 2, 3, so kind of a wing. Could have gave something a little bit of Morris minutes. Here's what Tyler could try. Give some of Morris minutes to Brandon Boston Jr. and then then give then after that then let's just say someone else gets tired, Reggie Jackson could get tired, and then just put Marcus Morris subbed for Reggie, and you could still keep Brandon Boston in, because he could kind of run the point, and then what else? Then you could sub Amir Coffee if he gets tired and all that, and just for someone else, you know what I mean? Could definitely just kind of play a little bit of a hopscotch in a way, if that's the right analogy for what I would like to do. But basically, kind of split the pie, you know what I mean? Because Brandon, he brings that juice. Last game, Brandon Boston should have played 30 minutes at least, and played some of the overtime minutes, because Brandon, he was lighting it up. He was he even iced the game on Evan Mobley. And Evan Mobley's a pretty good defender, but my man Brandon Boston Jr., man, definitely should be getting some minutes, just daily, because that guy's gonna be a superstar. That's just facts. Just give him the golden opportunity. He's definitely gonna be a premier, top 5, even top 3. Honestly, I could low key see Brandon Boston Jr. becoming the best player in the league within 5 years. Just play the man, bro. Just play Brandon Boston Jr. And then, but yeah, that's just pretty much what I could Oh, I forgot Isaiah Hartenstein. My apologies to Isaiah Hartenstein. Did pretty solid. Got some good buckets. Had some nice momentum dunk. Terrence Mann and Amir Coffey had that as well too. But yeah, like both of the bigs struggled in terms of rebounding. Like the Raptors were pretty much out rebounding like a lot of times. Our interior defense was not the best. Like they were just finding ways to score baskets inside the paint, especially with Siakam. Which now I'm gonna talk about the Raptors side. So Siakam, he was making like a lot of the hook shots. He was shooting threes. He was just doing everything. He was just being the Pascal Siakam. Like he was playing like a premier all star. Shout out to Siakam. And then they got Scotty Barnes, who's a young and upcoming player, that's a which is that's really good for the Raptors because Barnes could play like literally all five positions. If we're being honest, like even like you could have him play center if you want to play like really small ball. But for Barnes, like he could just do a lot of things. Like this game though, he was like shooting shots from the midi. He was being a really good player. And then you also have Achua, who did fairly solid, 5 for 7, just got the basic buckets. You got what else? Cam Birch, who gave Zubas a little of a hard time in a way. Being the energy guy, plays defense, just quick in a way. Then you also got who else? Boucher, who hit a three or something like that. Did his job, I guess. That Van Fleet, he was getting the buckets. Um, just getting buckets in the first half. Slow down a little bit, but yeah, but yeah. Honestly, like did like what can I say? Like the refs made like a decent amount of suspect calls. Like especially the part when like Terrence Mann, he hit like all ball against Fred Van Fleet, but for some strange reason, the refs decide to give it to the Raptors, even though when Terrence Mann hit the ball like all ball, no, not really much of the contact, but Van Fleet, he missed one free throw, and then we struggled in rebounding like very bad, so then Van Fleet basically just got another chance, and yeah, then he made like it was like 103, but then Marcus Morris, like I believe he kind of like I forgot like exactly what happened, but Marcus Morris just took the last shot, and then he just missed like I'm not if I'm being honest, he kind of missed it like pretty badly, but like honestly, should have honestly been like Reggie Jackson to like take the last shot because when it matters, Reggie Jackson is on the clutch side of the spectrum, and he's a really good shot creator. But yeah, that's that. Like so, basically, we struggled with rebounding, and the last possession, like Reggie Jackson should have took the shot if we're being honest. But yeah, that's it. Just let me know what you think about the game. Be sure to leave a like and comment, subscribe, and I'll be sure to get with y'all in the comment section. And as y'all know, go Clippers.